Hey guys, Isabel here. Welcome back to Reeled In. Today's episode will be another breakdown video for Amazon's new series, The Rings of Power. My last two breakdown videos have been really late in uploading, but starting to get my life back into a balance. And so this one's actually coming out sooner than it normally does. Yay for me. But let's dive on in. Episode 4 opens with a vision from Miriel. The sea is destroying Numenor, obliterating everything in its path. Now, Numenor will eventually have a devastating downfall. So I'm glad we may be getting some foreshadowing in this vision. The petals from the white tree fall from their branches, which is a sign that evil and danger is near. I'll talk about this a bit more in my last breakdown. Now, I know in the show, the petals are a sign of the Valar watching over Numenor and passing judgment on the Numenorians. However, in the original writings, as I said, it was more of a sign of evil. But in the vision, the pointed balcony gets obliterated, and if the courtyard looks familiar to you, that's because we see a similar one in Minas Tirith, the White City of Gondor, which is because a lot of the architecture in Middle-earth, at least in the realm of men, is built by the Numenorians once they sort of sail over and start to colonize Middle-earth, which we know this will be happening by the end of the episode. Moving on, we see Theo travel to a nearby village to collect some food, and he encounters an orc. He pulls out the sword hilt to defend himself, and once again uses his blood to help the blade grow, which must mean something. Hello, Nazgul. Hello, future king of the Southlands. I mean, come on. I still don't know exactly what's going to happen with his character, but I definitely think over time he will be corrupted onto the side of Sauron. But it'll be interesting to see how that corruption takes place. We see the dwarves helping Celebrimbor build his tower, his furnace, and the dwarven cranes have a specific spiral shape, which is actually reference to the golden ratio. And I find it personally interesting to see just how scientific the dwarves are in their engineering process, because we've always known that dwarves are master builders. We finally get a mithril confirmation. We recognize this ore from Bilbo and Frodo's impenetrable chainmail we see in the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well as the Hobbit trilogy, when Thorin gives it to Bilbo as a gift. But Elrond does get to keep a chunk of this mithril, which may in the near future be used to craft Nenya, which is the mithril ring that Galadriel wears and I believe is one of the 3 rings given to the elves. But Halbrand and Galadriel are stuck in Numenor's dungeon, and Halbrand gives Galadriel this very, very interesting piece of advice.
In an instance like this, it seems to me that you do well to identify what it is that your opponent most fears. Give them a means of mastering it, so that you can master them.
Sauron or Red Herring? Personally, I'm stumped on it. What do you guys think? But Galadriel escapes and finds herself once more conversing with Miriel in the tower that her father is locked away in. Miriel leads Galadriel to show her the Palantir, but on the way they pass what I believe is Narsil, the sword that was once broken and then reforged. But we do also see Saruman owning a Palantir in the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, just in case it looked familiar to you, but you couldn't quite place where you'd seen it. And we see a visual of Disa resonating, which she described in episode 2, which is just so beautiful. I just had to mention it. Like, I could rewatch that scene all day. Back at the watchtower, we find out that Waldrig also used his blood to keep the blade alive. I once had a theory, I believe in my first breakdown, that a part of Sauron's soul or essence is in that sword, and that evil is used to corrupt Theo, turning him into a Nazgul. But now Waldrig is in the equation. So what does this mean for Waldrig? Waldrig's character, and just what was he doing with that sword in the past? If you guys have some theories, feel free to drop them in the comments. Back on Numenor, Miriel starts to send Galadriel away, but the white tree sheds its petals, and the Queen Regent has a major uh-oh moment. So she decides to give Galadriel an army. Is this the right choice the Queen Regent made? I think yes and no. Yes, for the future, for the events we know that happens in the Third Age of Middle-earth, of Tolkien's world, but also perhaps for Numenor itself. Not really a good decision. But among that army is Isildur and his father. We obviously do know their fate at the end of the Second Age, when Sauron kills Isildur's father, and then Isildur thinks he defeated Sauron, but didn't completely because he kept the One Ring for himself. But I also hope among them Isildur's sister also makes the journey to Middle-earth. She is an apprentice for the Builders Guild. There's probably a direct name for that, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But we see throughout the episode she has a deep appreciation for architecture, specifically drawing architecture around Numenor. Perhaps in this series she may be the mastermind behind that architecture in Middle-earth, at least in the realm of men. Because she does seem to be a relatively important character so far, and I can't really imagine them giving her all these scenes and then writing her off later in the season. But guys, that was my breakdown of episode 4. This is a rather shorter video. But if I missed any Easter eggs or concepts that you want to discuss, feel free to drop them in the comment section and leave a like on the video. Feel free to subscribe if you want to watch Rings of Power reaction videos as well as Rings of Power breakdown videos. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.